Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again. A new version is upon us, version 3.2. And 3.2 is going to be coming alongside a bunch of different banners. And one thing that we always do whenever whenever we're on the eve of a new patch is take a look at all the different banners available and let you all know what the pull value is going to be for all of these different units and all of these different weapons. But there's one reality about patch 3.2 that a lot of people have probably seen as well. Yeah, this is probably going to be the anniversary unit in Wuthering Waves. But you still probably want to know what you're potentially missing out on if you do decide to save exclusively for a unit like this. So without further ado, right, I know you're probably not necessarily thinking too much about the banners in this patch, but why not take an adventure with me so you can find out whether or not these units are truly entirely skippable. But before we begin, if you're looking to pull for Sigrika, her weapon, or maybe just saving up some lunite for Hiyuki, you'd probably like to save some cash. LD Shop is the perfect way to do that, and I'll tell you why. LD Shop gives you access to huge discounts on virtually everything you can buy in tons of games. For now, let's focus on Wuwa. The monthly pass, which is usually $5, is much less on ldshop.gg, a great deal. To use this discount, simply select the item, click top up, and submit your payment. Then you'll select self top up. For a limited time, you'll get an additional discount when using this method. After viewing the instructions video, simply enter your Qiuyuan login and password on the browser client. This might seem a bit off, but remember that LD Shop has excellent reviews on Trustpilot. You'll then log in and manually redeem your purchased items in the client. The system will then sign you out and erase your login information. Or you can provide your Qiuyuan login information to LD Shop staff and they can complete your order for you. New users can get a 10% discount and an additional 5% using my sponsored link. First-time top-up bonuses are available as well, and spending $80 or more will get you a VIP membership, which can get you a free 30-day lunite subscription. So try LD Shop today. So first things first, the unit that we're going to be having up front in the patch is going to obviously be Sigrika. And the good thing about Sigrika and the information that we've gotten so far is that it's pretty obvious what she's actually going to do in game. All you need to do is head on over, take a look at, one of the new Echo sets that's become available. And as we all know, that Echo set is going to be Sound of True Name. And, well, if you don't know about Sigrika and you don't know too much about her lore, she's all about, that true name and, shit like that. So it's not particularly surprising that this Echo set is for her. And, well, it's also one of the strongest Echo sets in the game. Let's just take a look at one of the effects that it has. Arrow damage plus 10%. And dealing Echo skill damage to enemies increases the Resonator's Echo skill crit rate by 20% and grants a 15% arrow damage bonus. It's pretty clear that Sigrika uses a shit ton of those solo skins and uses a shit ton of those Echoes while she's in combat. I think that much is pretty obvious to most people that are, that saw her reveal in the live stream. And the good news is that this might be the best Echo set in the game in terms of just raw offensive stats. I think it's actually very, very, very comparable to Trailblazing Star or Amith's. Yeah, actually, Amith's is a little bit better because she gets 20% crit and 20% fusion damage. This one gives you 20% crit and then 15% arrow damage. Wait a second. Wait, she just feels like she has a worse version. Anyways, with that in mind, probably that's balanced due to the fact that this 4-cost Echo, the Nameless Explorer, gives 32% to Echo skill damage. The 12% arrow plus the 20% Echo skill, maybe it's getting balanced by the fact that this passive bonus is a little bit stronger. All things aside, what's pretty obvious about Sigrika is that I think she's going to be very strong. And I think her strength is probably going to be a solid selling point for her, knowing that there's so much competition that she's going to have to deal with when it comes to pulling. So my personal take is that Sigrika over here should be a very, very, very viable unit as long as you have some of the tools necessary to make her work. Because you're seeing very clearly that she's focused on Echo skill damage. And the next character that's up in this update, also in the first half, is going to be the best Echo skill buffer in the game. Qiuyuan is, without a doubt, probably going to be a tier 0 sub DPS as soon as Sigrika releases, because his ability to buff Echo skill damage is so insane that it needs to actually be talked about. As long as Qiuyuan is in the game, basically any echo skill damage dealer is going to be pretty reliably strong. And excuse the fact that I have a DPS set on him. He's playable at S0. I do it. This is what he looks like on his actual supporting set. So Law of Harmony is really, really, really good because it ends up giving 16% echo skill damage, which Qiuyuan basically is able to provide to his entire team because he repeatedly casts echo skills in his kit using his Thus Spoke the Blade combo. He also comes equipped with the ability to buff every person's crit damage by 30% as well, because it's very easy to, you only need 65% crit rate to activate this. He's also, yeah, doing all of that, and I'm pretty sure he's got like another buff in his, oh yeah, another 30% here. So it's like 30% echo skill damage on his forte. Then he has like the 30% crit damage over here. And then he also just like fucking comes in with 16% over here. You can see why he gives so many bonuses, right? And you're probably beginning to see why he's so good for people that deal echo skill damage. Imagine that you don't have him. That's a little bit rough because you're missing out on like 46% echo skill damage and all those crit damage buffs, right? You're also going to be missing out on his outro skill that just gives 50% echo skill damage amplification. That's a lot of amplification too. He's a very strong unit. He's very complete as a buffer. And if you have him on your account, any person that deals echo skill damage in the future should be really good to work with. I don't really know what else to say. His weapon as well, and this is where we'll take the time to actually talk about Emerald Sentence, right? Also gives even more buffing abilities. Let's just take a look over here. Casting an intro skill grants 20% echo skill damage to all resonators in the team. So with all of his bonuses combined, bro is out here. I'm pretty sure he gives like fucking 60-something% echo skill damage, the 30% crit damage, and then the amplification too. Sigrika is probably going to be a character that primarily deals echo skill damage. So you can probably imagine what's going on. It's 67%, right? Is it actually 67%? That would be wild if true. He's really strong. And what's true about this game is that Galbraina is actually not his ideal partner, because Galbraina deals heavy attack damage too. Qiuyuan wants somebody that deals just echo skill damage because that's where all of his buffs are. He doesn't really buff heavy attack for people on his team. His buffs also primarily only affect the on-field character. So even with Frolova, he's primarily used just for his echo skill casts and his heavy attack damage, which she buffs, but his actual passive echo skill damage buffs aren't really that noticeable, at least on her. And so the reality is, Sigrika is probably going to be Qiuyuan's best overall partner, unless she's got like some weird damage distribution that is similar to Galbraina's. And that's entirely something that could happen, right? Because the reality is, guys, if she doesn't have a secondary damage type that she also does, then you're not going to have any real free-to-play options for her. And I'm sure she's going to have something to make it a lot easier for those types of players. Overall, I would just say when it comes to these two, you can think of them as a bit of like a package deal. Sigrika has a lot more value if you do decide to go ahead and pull Qiuyuan. And if you already have Qiuyuan, then I think naturally she's going to be a very high value pull as well. I'm personally going to be pulling her just because I pull every single unit in the game. And well, yeah, we already have him too. The last thing that I'll say when it comes to Emerald Sentence is that it's also just genuinely one of the strongest looking signatures in the game. What it does is it has up to 60% heavy attack damage just from like using his kit. For example, casting an echo skill within 10 seconds after using an intro skill or basic attack grants 1 stack of bamboo cleaver, which gives 30% heavy attack damage, which is a fuck ton, right? And so that's 60% total, and then he also gets a 20% echo skill. It's like a lot of shit, right? It does actually look like an obscene number of buffs. Yeah, none of his other inherents are really that important. You can kind of just see what's going on, right? He's a solid unit, 100%. And I think the fact that he is like Chinaman, the character, is one of the reasons for why he's probably going to retain a lot of value in the future. Very, very, very solid, high-value pull in the present that can really only get better with time. So yeah, and Sigrika is going to be one of those units that hopefully, well, elevates him even further. So yeah. Sigrika's weapon, I mean, what do you want me to say? Yes, it's going to be good on her. Awesome. It's probably going to boost her damage and make it crazy. Very, very, very cool. Now, let's move on to Phase 2 banners. And this is where stuff is going to get really interesting. Or really, in my opinion, it's going to be really short. Lynae. If you missed her, this is your opportunity to get her. That's pretty much all I could say. Because Lynae probably is currently the highest value unit in the game as from a sub DPS perspective. Because she's going to be the best in slot for Ameth, who I think everyone has. And so this is just a great opportunity for you to pick Lynae up so that Ameth can have her best in slot team. She's also, if you skipped Ameth and you pulled this guy instead, Lynae's also going to be the best in slot for Luke. But I think it's pretty clear that Luke is probably going to get a better option in the future. Lynae is also just reliably usable with almost every DPS in the game as well. Like, it's going to be a best in slot for Yuno. Very good for Zhang Liao. Usable with Frolova. Usable with Augusta. Not like amazing, right? Usable with DPS Phoebe. Usable with like Carlotta and stuff too. Lynae's main strength is the fact that she could just go ahead. And also with very, very low investment, I know I have her signature, you can just pop a static mist on her and it just gets the job done as well, right? Because Lynae's main role is to be like a attack buffer that just gives a lot of different attribute damage, all these different sources of things. And so her running static mist pretty much fills the same exact role as her using her signature, but her signature does also buff her ability to buff a lot. Baseline stuff in her kit is that she just gives like a 24% damage dealt buff to the entire team. Yeah, that's what she has on her ultimate. It's very good. And her outro skill gives her 50% all damage amp and then 25% liberation, making her mostly good for liberation characters, but that 15% split still gives her the ability to, well, help people out, right, in a lot of different circumstances. That's why she's actually very solid with Carlotta. Then you take a look at her forte, right, and she also buffs the ability of Tomb Break boost on your teams, gives everybody 40. And that's why she's really good with Luke Herson. You can kind of see what's going on over here, right? At her baseline, her kit is doing a lot, but then she also has these interactions, right, with Toon Rupture and Toon Strained. And so in Toon Strained mode, that's why she's good with Luke, and then Toon Rupture mode, well, obviously, that's why she's good with Ameth. And, well, we all know how strong those Toon teams can actually be at the end of the day. So it's kind of just, Lynae is very, very, very good, but she is a bit specialized towards Resonance Liberation, but she has enough flexibility to work in a bunch of different lineups. And basically what I'm saying is that you should probably get her if you don't have her yet. And she's a very, very high value pull. And there's not a lot of situations where you're going to regret pulling her because she operates so well even without her signature. The last thing that I'll say is just in regards to like her Sonata set. Yeah. Based off of the recipient's Tomb Break boost stat, Lynae gives an attack bonus of up to 15%. Guess what? She buffs Tomb Break boost, and so you'll get the full 15% for anybody that you're deciding to buff. And, well, 15% attack is pretty good. And then the Havatia Echo also, well, gives a 10% all attribute damage bonus. I will say, though, just in terms of, like, Moonlit Clouds and all of that, yes, Moonlit Clouds does give a bigger damage bonus, right? But Moonlit Clouds is way less offensively as powerful as a set. And Pact of Neon Light Leap, right? Oh, wait, never mind. Pact of Neon Light Leap has a bigger attack bonus. Yeah, it goes up to 30%. Yeah, my bad. I needed to add this additional 15% over here. So, yeah, Neon Light Leap, higher attack bonus, but Havatia doesn't give as much of an all-attribute damage bonus compared to the Heron. So, yeah, that's a bit of a reclarification there. Overall, you should have her on your account. If you don't have her, not having her is likely going to make some of your existing Toon teams not feel very good at all. And I'm gonna be real. Ameth does kind of feel like she's missing something if you're not running her on the Toon Rupture team right now. But you also have the option of playing Ameth on Fusion Burst, but that team isn't ready yet. It's not even close to complete yet. But you always have the option of skipping Lynae and then instead going for like the Chisa Fusion Burst Ameth team as well. But like you're probably going to be waiting for another 40 fucking days for that. So have fun with that. Yeah, this character is going to be trash for another couple of another update, I guess. This is genuinely, I don't even know how they had the balls to do this. Yeah, she's still booty cheeks. She's still doo-doo water. Anyways, this is not a Chisa hate video, but it's just stating facts over here. Lynae's a solid pick. Now, I realize I should probably look into it. The 4 stars that are going to be here. Yang Yang is old. Sanhua's good, and Bu Ling is good. Actually, wait. Yeah, wait, no, this warrants a conversation. We all know how good Sanhua is at this point. You should, her S6 is incredibly strong and her rotation time is incredibly short, and she just has a bunch of different reasons to be used on the roster. Also good with Luke Herson as well, though, yeah, I feel like they're just spamming Sanhua recently. Basically, her S6 gives her a shit ton of buffing ability on a bunch of different teams. It's a very, very, very solid S6. But the real star of the show is going to be none other than Bu Ling over here. Yeah, she's her S6 grants a 50% resonance skill damage bonus to the active resonator in the team. Yeah, I'm just gonna be real with you over here. That's like really fucking strong. It also buffs her ability to inflict electro flare at S5. She even gets a, well, insta kill protection over here on S3. S2 reduces her ER requirements, though it is what it is. And I guess she gets some damaging ability over here. You can kind of see that her sequence nodes, especially her 6th one, is incredibly fucking good. And honestly, if you do want to like play around with an S6 Bu Ling, this banner up front that we just looked at, right, with Qiuyuan and Sigrika is an awesome opportunity to get her. And I'm praying that I get some Bu Ling copies. Yeah, I'd be very excited to get some Bu Ling copies when I'm pulling Sigrika in this upcoming update. Also, the 4-star weapons. Oh, these are shit. Yeah, pretend these don't even exist. Don't let these 4 stars influence any of your weapon pulling decisions. No, they're trash. Yeah, they're not even worth talking about. They're all terrible. Anyways, moving on. We got some other 5-star units to talk about. Probably know what I'm going to say. These are potentially the 2 worst units to pull in the game. I'm just going to be honest. In the big 2026, you should pretend these banners don't exist. And this is my take. I feel like Kuro is just putting them in here right now so they don't show up during the anniversary. Because they know that these units are so bad, they're just going to waste slots on the anniversary banners. Genuinely. I think that's the reasoning. They will waste slots on the anniversary banners because no one's going to fucking pull on them. Because this is the thing, guys. Zani Mommy, right? The mommy unit that unclothes herself during her liberation, she's not really that good. And the only way to make her not feel like a pile of shit in 99% of gameplay situations is to quick swap with her. And if you don't quick swap with her, she is really bad. Like, she is unforgivably dog shit. Like, legitimately, her like 5-6 cost team, it's just shit. And so unless you learn how to play her like a job, she's just not going to be good. That's just a fact. And the reality is that most players are not going to be very satisfied with using her because of those restrictions that she has. That's just her issues at a gameplay perspective. Those are just her issues in gameplay. Then you have the fact that she requires Phoebe to clear pretty much any of the content in the game now. Yeah. If you don't have Phoebe, you're not going to be clearing any content with Zani. That's kind of just what it is. And the Phoebe that you gotta like build her around is, of course, Confession Mode Phoebe, where she amplifies Spectrofrazzle damage by fucking 100%. And Zani deals Spectrofrazzle damage in her Blaze Mode. Yeah. So you can kind of see what's going on over here. If you don't have Phoebe, it's sort of like, what are you doing? Because you're not going to be doing any damage. And that's just the case. The other hoop that you have to run through is that Phoebe also feels like one of the worst units to play in the game. And the reason for that is very simple. You know what? I'll just kind of like bring out the team so I can show you guys. We're not gonna be playing any of the content with it. But let me just like show you the type of shit that you gotta be like doing. You gotta do so many like cancels on this unit. Oh my god, what is this? What? Bro, what? Wait, does she not have any attacks? Anyways. You gotta be doing so many cancels, like, on this unit. It's just nauseating. It's just nauseating to do all those cancels. And when she's on DPS mode, you gotta do 4 of them. When she's on confession mode, you only gotta do like 2 of them. But it's like all of her animations are so needlessly long. And it's like other characters simply don't have the need to like cancel them. That's like what she's built around, just taking a stupidly long amount of time to do anything on the field. And if you don't cancel the animations, she doesn't clear. She just doesn't clear. It's not about like dealing less, like she just does not clear. So you have to use her cancels. There's really no other option. And her cancels are like fucking annoying too. Because you're canceling animations on a sub DPS, bro. You're canceling animations on a 5-star sub DPS and she's not dealing damage. That's probably the worst part. When she's on confession mode, you're canceling her animations and she's not dealing any fucking damage anyways. And so you're like out here sweating and shit, and like the reward is a faster rotation. You're not really dealing any fucking damage though on the unit. I just have to say, when it comes to these two, they're failures in unit design. Spectrofrazzle is a complete fucking failure. And I don't think that there's anybody legitimately pushing these teams or suggesting that you pull them or play them or do any of that unless they're actively like griefing you and giving you bad advice on purpose. If you really want to play this team, you want a high skill cap team, you can go for it, but you should understand what you're getting yourself into, because there's a high possibility you will realize, damn, I don't really want to have to sweat just to get baseline clears, and you're going to regret your decision to pull these characters. Because guess what? This team over here, like I said before, unless you quick swap and this shit ain't clearing the TOA, it just is not. And you're gonna like be competing with literal 1.0 units for clears. Unless you quick swap. But okay, you can just quick swap on the other units too. And that's the reality. Overall, I just gotta say, no matter what type of player you are, you're essentially pulling these units and you're playing them to get like a worse overall experience. And if you like quick swapping, you like all of that, go for it. But the question is, why aren't you just pulling the Mono Fusion team then? Because that has a fine level of baseline performance, and then you could quick swap with it too. So you could instead just pull the team that can quick swap or play 1, 2, 3, and it will clear with both. This one only clears playing one type of way, and that's a little bit unfortunate, at least in my opinion. Now, we got the weapons. Or really, let's talk about the 4 stars. They're all shit except for Dan Jin. And Dan Jin has that 20% attack bonus in her kit. That one's pretty cool. But yeah, they're all shit except for Dan Jin, so it is what it is. Yeah, I don't think we really need to talk about it. What, fucking Yohu and Tao Chi? Bro, Tao Chi might as well not have sequence nodes. She's a fine S0 unit because of Tao Chi's ability to buff resonance skill damage by a very, very, very fair amount. Like, it's pretty good, right? You can see, I use her when her skill tree looks like this. Yeah, Tao Chi basically gets 38% resonance skill damage bonus. It's pretty solid, right? Her sequence nodes are fucking poison though. Yeah, just get out of my face, right? They're just terrible. Yohu doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. I have like all of her. I don't even play her. Yeah, she has like DPS sequence nodes and she doesn't do any fucking damage. So you're just like, why are you even here? And Dan Jin, like I said before, solid unit that can actually get a lot done. But the reality is, there are better units to use in basically every situation, and Dan Jin is kind of just like an affordable option that's going to be worse than everybody else. Nothing too crazy, but that's just, you know, I think that's just a fact that most people recognize. Now, let's talk about the weapons. Spectrum Blaster is like so unnecessary, but it's also very strong. It basically doubles Lynae's ability to provide all attribute damage bonus, and if you're using Lynae in like, I don't know, HP scaling Ts for some fucking reason, it's a lot more valuable than Static Mist, right? But the reality is that Lynae is probably going to be used 99% of the time with units that scale with attack. So Lynae and Static Mist are just fine. And Spectrum Blaster is great for her, like her personal damage, but Lynae doesn't do that much personal damage in the fucking first place. So it's kind of just use Static Mist and really get this if you want to optimize, but it's completely unnecessary. Like, it is just, I have it, but and that's why I can tell you, you don't need this shit. Just Lynae on Static Mist will get everything you need done. Don't feel the need to pull this, but it still can be pretty nice if you do want it, right? Now, though, so remember what I said before about Zani and Phoebe? Yeah, they kind of really do want their weapons as well. Because you remember how I mentioned that Phoebe, yeah, her weapon just gives an additional 30% Spectrofrazzle amp. Which is like, she already gives 100 at a baseline, but like 30% is also pretty good, right? There's a reason why Kuro doesn't make weapons like this anymore. Because it just piss people off, right? This is such a like unique stat that you can only get on the weapons. Because guess what Zani's fucking weapon does? 50% Spectrofrazzle amp. So you're seeing over here that these two characters' weapons give 80% amp. There's no other way to get that in the game. Like, you like have to get their weapons, and if you don't, you're missing out on 80% amp. Do you see why I'm telling you not to pull these units? Do you see why I've been telling you not to pull these fucking units? Because you need their weapons too. Again, they're not clearing. And even when you have the characters and their weapons, you need a quick swap on top of that to clear. That's unforgivably bad. Like that level of just bad baseline performance is kind of just like embarrassing for a character and like this much cost in a team. So it's just, get this shit out of my face, bro. Get this shit out of my face, bro. I'm good. Now, though, we need to talk about some of the 4-stars. And, well, Kuro knows that this weapon banner's dog shit. So that's why they put variation on it. They also put Marcato on it. They put 2 of the Concerto weapons, which are the best ones in the game, on these banners. Why do you think? Because they know these weapons are fucking shit. And so, this is my advice to you. This is probably the best banner in Wuwa history to build pity on. And you should pray to God that you don't actually get one of these weapons, because you don't need any of them, or you shouldn't go for any of them. And you should build pity and pray that you get variation, because variation is the best. It's the best rectifier in the game, right? You use it on your shorekeeper, you use it on your Verena, and you are blazing it. You are going so fast on your initial rotations. You're going so fast on your second rotations. It's just nuts, bro. Wait, do you use it on Booling too? Yeah, probably. I don't fucking play Booling though. Yeah, just S3 Shorekeeper. Yeah, totally, bro. It's good. And everyone should try to have as many copies of variation as possible. And I'm one of the gifted players who happens to somehow have like 2 R5 variations and a third one just sitting there ready to go as well. Yes, brother man, I am swimming in it. And while I'm not going to be pulling on the weapon banners in the update, maybe I'll build a little bit of pity to see if I can get some more copies. Because yes, this is very cool, and everyone should strive for something like this on their account, especially day 1 players. Get as many variations as you can, brother man. Yeah, that's the goal. But once again, building pity can also mean that you end up with a copy of this shit on your account. Maybe I won't. Yeah, maybe I won't. Yeah, there's like I said before, there are other priorities at the moment. And, well, it looks like she has an ice katana, brother, man. Yeah, I might have to get that shit instead. As you can probably see, I think Kuro knows that this is going to be one of the most diabolically low pull, low sales, low whatever patches in the history of the game. And I think I've explained why. But for the sake of our sponsor, LD Shop, do keep in mind that anything that you spend on right now as you get ready for the update, well, it is still going to be applicable for, yeah, this Moonlit Pass spending event thing that you got going on over here. So, yeah, I think this is an awesome opportunity, right, for us to just, well, simply advertise the fact that there are some pretty damn good packages in the store at the moment. And, well, this is happening too. But also do keep in mind that there's probably going to be a top-up reset for the anniversary as well. So, yeah, maybe it's better to wait. I don't know. The end result is this is here, but this patch is without a doubt kind of cooked. But who knows? Maybe Sigrika will have, like, an amazing story. I know some people were saying they were going to skip Amith, right? And then they decided to pull her after the story. Maybe some people here, they'll make the same decision with Sigrika. They'll really like the story quest that she's in. They'll, you know, like, she looks a little bit goofy, man, right? They'll like the story quest that she's in. And maybe she'll actually drive a bunch of sales. Who knows? But yeah, that's going to be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I think she's cooked, but maybe she'll surprise me. Peace out.